This is a disclaimer for the broadcast. Remember to be mindful on and off the broadcast. Opinions spoken on the broadcast are solely the speakers and not IDEPIs. Sensitive topics may be covered on the broadcast, including, but not limited to, violence, abuse, suicide, and mental health. This broadcast is meant as a learning opportunity for everyone involved. Thank you, and please enjoy the broadcast. What do you think is the appropriate time to have a relationship with someone?
To my perspective, I think we should do dating when one is over 18 because I believe by the time a person is 18 years old, he has so many things that he have occurred, maybe counseling and all about the guardians from the information he gets from the parents. And I believe by the age of 18, he is now able to think and able to do something that can be controlled. And I believe at the age of 18, like one person is able to interact with their partner and they can able to identify the problems that are related to relationship and be able to overcome them.
That's what I want to say. I kind of agree, but some people when they turn 18, they're not fully there yet to be in relationships. Like they're not mature enough. Like, their mindset's not there. So that's why I'm saying it's not. Like, there's not really an age because there can be some people who are 16 there's some people who are high school sweethearts from the age of 15 up to right now. So the age of 18 is not really uh age of dating because some people are not mature enough. Some people don't have the time. Like they're not there yet.
Yeah.
I think everybody has different levels of maturities when they're teens. So at that point, like cause like some people as a teen they already know a lot about what's it called sex and consent and stuff, and then they also know how to protect themselves. So I feel like at that point it will be okay for them to date, and it like if they feel like they're ready for that at that point.
I don't really think there's like a right age. I think you should like start when you're in like middle school, because like you can have like more experience and stuff.
For me, I would say, and this is for my first experiences too, I feel like the best time to date is 18. And the reason why I'm saying that, it's a little bit old fashioned, but I believe that when you're 18, you're supposed to be done with high school. And I know situations are different. So I feel like being done with high school allows you to now, like, you can focus yourself in a relationship. But like when you're under 18 and when you're still in high school, middle school, or like elementary, you're focusing on building your education and you're focusing on knowing yourself as a person. And I know a lot of emotions, especially like during adolescence. That's when you're 13, or and then growing up and you're learning about yourself, you're learning about how to be a woman or a man, and you're learning about all these different like situations that can affect your mind. And I feel like going like further, especially for people who have trauma, I feel like trauma is best processed when you're older than when you're younger. And because if something happens to you when you're 14, you can't deal with it better than when you're 18. I feel like it comes up with maturity, and dating, I feel like you can make a mistake, or maturity comes with age. So starting to date at like 18 gives you a better bed to lie on when things go bad than when you're 14. And especially like in our African culture, a lot of times we can't talk to our parents, or you can't talk to somebody who is older because you feel um, that you cannot express like, oh, I'm in a relationship and this happened. So it's safer for you to start dating when you're 18.
Okay, I'm gonna add on to what Fiona you said. I feel like also dating requires full responsibility. Like you're supposed to be 100% committed. You're supposed to be, give it all, your all. And I don't think you can be able to do that at 14. Like when you're a minor, you have all these things going on. You have school, you're growing up, you're going through adolescence, like all these emotions are hitting you back to back. So I think when you decide you want to date somebody, make sure that one, you're comfortable, one, you're ready to give it, 100% and all of that. So full responsibility is key as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a specific age to start dating, but as long as you know what you want, you know your worth, then you can go ahead and date.
Okay, so from my past experiences, I will advise that the right age today is like probably 16 to 18. Personally, I did date when I was a teen, and I felt like I was not emotionally mature. I was not responsible. I felt like I was being taken advantage of. The choices that I made were not, by me. They were, they came up from, my partner who I was dating. So I do agree with the fact that you can date at any age, at any time where you feel comfortable. But I feel like let's like push it up a notch and say that at 14, I don't think you're, you're emotionally mature to date. But maybe like at 16, 18, then yeah, you should be you can be ready to date. So that's from my own past experiences, but I do believe that for other people it could be different, and I respect that.
So I agree with all of you, especially Maureen, when you were saying that you need to wait as long as you want. Not even want, you need to wait as long as you need. Like if it's 1 year, 2 years, you need to make sure the person you're getting into a relationship with is someone that you trust, both physically, sexually, mentally. So that when they start abusing you, like on the second date, you're not like shocked, you're like, oh my god, like you're abusing me. You need to know what kind of person they are in very many different situations. So that like Phil said, you can see, okay, this is someone I want to be with, this is someone I don't want to be with.
Yeah, for me as a parent, and I know this one is so awkward, I would say first you focus on yourself, especially when you can be able to support yourself fully. You have to have your own career, but it's also good to learn, especially when you are maybe out of high school. You can also try to get more information on dating, the consequences, and how you would want it done. So it all depends on possibly even how you're brought up. So as parents, I think we should also encourage, and we should be discussing some of these topics, because they're so critical, and they are adding so many young people to jail when they start dating too young, and they don't know, they don't have experience. And some of the people like they're dating, they take advantage of them. So it all depends. So let's keep on talking to our young people so we can be able to guide them on how to go about dating and to avoid all these things of violences which is occurring right now. Thank you.
Why do you think it's hard to get out of an abusive relationship?
The reason I think it's hard is because once you've been with them for a long time period and the abuser, it's hard to get out because you feel love for them. Mm-hmm. And to get out is dangerous too because you have that fear of them leaving you and coming after you too. Mm-hmm. So it's very hard to get out of that.
Does anyone want to add on to that one?
I also think it's because like when you are getting abused by a partner, most of the time you're isolated and you don't really feel like you can talk to anybody. So leaving that situation will really hard. And in most cases, they're scared that their action will get worse if they try to leave, and they might even like hurt their family member or like their child or something. So I feel like that's also a part of it.
In addition to that, I also feel like whenever you're in a relationship, especially if you haven't like learned something about yourself, you're codependent into that person. Mm-hmm. It can be either financially, emotionally, physically. All of those can make it harder for you to leave that person because you're dependent to that person. You don't know sometimes how to be by yourself, and you just
instead you feel like it's better to stay with that person because the person provides security for you?
I think what all of you guys said was valid. I also think there's not enough resources that I know of that support people of violence in relationships. So with that lack of awareness, you just don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, you don't know where to start, so you just remain in the position that you are in. That's what I think.
I was gonna say, and also with just everything, like people are scared to come forth because they don't want to be seen as weak or as a victim. Like they don't want that label put on them because you don't know, like it might be someone you see who's just outgoing, like they're happy all the time, but then behind closed doors, they're being subjected to domestic violence. So also to them, it's like they probably don't want people to look at them as weak, and that's why they won't come forth and say, yeah, actually I've been abused and it's been going on, and it's this person who everybody thinks loves me.
Yeah, and then I agree with you. Having a safe space at IDEPI, at least it has helped the young people and youth coming and saying what is happening. Because I know the stigma behind the let's say even domestic violence, the stigma in our community, people don't want to talk because you don't want, like, to be termed like you're talking your issues out. And I think it's so better when we are talking to the young people just to tell them to come out and say what is ailing them so we can be able to help them. And the issue is not judging them or saying something or victimizing them. The issue is helping them, because we cannot allow abusive relationship or domestic violence, because it's hurting the community, it's hurting the young people. So do you have any advice you can tell for those people who feel that they cannot be able to get out of abusive relationship?
Before I answer that question, I feel like the most important thing that I've learned as a person and also as a youth director is that the people who come before us set a good example. And sometimes I know some of us had grown up with like in abusive households, and like it's very hard to break that chain of constant reminder that you have to live in an abusive household. So I would like to say, like, IDEPI offers a very secure environment for you, and we have resources all over Washington State that can help you remove yourself in that situation. Whether you're afraid of being like alone or afraid that you're not able to support yourself financially or for whatever reason, we are there for you. And we know a lot of people who have been in similar situation as you, so we can be able to help you. And it's always good to come forward so that you can stop the abuse happening to you and affecting other people around you too.
Okay, like Fiona was saying before about like the what's it called, upbringing. Like I think that domestic abuse also like has a lot to do with upbringing, because like in a lot of cultures like mine was men are allowed to beat the woman. So if you grow up seeing that, you're gonna be like, oh, like they're allowed to do that, it's okay. Like, so basically I feel like that also like plays a factor in it. So like it's like about in order to like get people to realize domestic violence is not okay, we have to like stop making them think that it's okay from like when they're kids. And like what's it called, an advice that I would give to victims of domestic abuse is talk to somebody about whatever you're going through. Like even if it's really hard, talk to somebody that you trust, and make sure you take pictures, like, and record every single thing that happens to you, because so you can use that like as evidence later. Like record everything.
Do you think it's possible that someone would love the person who is abusing them?
Yes, I do believe that it is possible for someone to love their abuser, and I think it's because before this abusive starts, they've had a connection, and they have this hope that their significant other can change, or that they can be able to change them if they stay with them. So this care for them, it started when they started going out together before the signs of abuse started. Yeah.
I think it is possible because when you start the relationship at first it's it's a cycle. It starts with the honeymoon phase where they tell you everything that you want to hear, make you fall in love with them. Then they start like with the violence, and then when the violence starts they always feel remorseful after, and they will apologize for it, and then it goes back to the honeymoon phase, and it just keep going back and forth. So it just kind of and I also think like it's not just love that plays in it, it's also fear of leaving and like what might happen if you leave.